gonna make some time right now to grieve. I start watching movies. Nothing comes. It doesn't come. And when I'm not wanting it, when I'm not expecting it, when don't have time for it, is when it shows up. It's like, oh, I want you to feel this right now in the middle of the grocery store because you saw that pack of cookies that your godson loved and you always told him no. And now he's not here anymore. And now, oh, it's making me think of it. Right. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm in the middle of the grocery store. I ain't got time to be crying. Middle of the grocery store. Like, I was at home when I making time for it. And then, so all those things of grief that are now, it's like, okay, Shanti, you better make time for this. Better make time for this. And you don't get to choose when that time is. So that's what's happening on the back of the mask right now.
Bro, you're about to see something in a second. All right. So I just one of the things like that I used to, when I got to a certain point in my life, and so I grew up in Oakland, California. So once I was like in my teenage years, my mom used to send me to Mississippi. Let me give you a little bit of backstory. My mom used to send me to Mississippi every summer. And I used to spend all my summers in Mississippi. And our family is very close back there. My mom's side of the family is very close. So I spent all my summers in Mississippi. So I know all of my aunties, my uncles, my great aunties, my great uncles. Long story short, when I used to go to Mississippi, I used to see a lot of my family and, more importantly, a lot of elders in my family. So when I would come out here, my dad's parents lived out here. My grandfather from my dad passed away when I was really young. My mom's father, however, we called him Papa. He lived to be well over 100. I didn't even realize how old he was doing the stuff he was doing until I got old enough to be like, wait a minute, he how old? So anyway, I used to tell my younger friends back here in the Bay throughout our teenage years, the goal is to be old longer than you young. Because I started to understand what was happening in our environment, the age groups that it was happening in, this, that, and this. So I've always told myself that, and I've always spread that, but I didn't know how to give substance to it when I was younger. And I just knew like you want to be here to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, so the goal is to be old longer than you're young. I still say it, and I just embrace some of the things I said as a young man, almost like mantras, sort of say that now we're playing out into my life.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you didn't have the understanding, but now it's like, as you grow, you get different pieces of the puzzle, like you were saying. But I was just like, I don't know if you can see this, but look what mines are.
Okay.
Like I didn't see yours. You didn't see mine. Like being a perfectionism, being a perfectionist, survivor's guilt / remorse, my grieving stages and self-discovery. Like, so for me, I am really hard on myself because I know what I've been with me my whole life. Like I've never not done anything I put my mind to. I've never not accomplished anything that I did everything I was supposed to do and kept my mind on it and kept the focus. Now, some things I didn't do as well as I could have because I half-assed it. So now as I'm growing and I understand, it's like I'm really hard on myself because it's like you have the capabilities to do whatever it is that you're thinking about. Are you doing the work? What are you not doing? What are you missing? So then I have that survivors, and that goes in also into my survivor's guilt / remorse because I've lost siblings. My best friends was my 2 brothers. I have 3 brothers, but my closest ones was my older brother, Anthony, and my younger brother, Harold. Harold was murdered. Anthony passed away. And I lost a sister as well, on top of other family members. But actually, I lost 2 sisters. So I have that survivor's guilt remorse because the things that are coming into my understanding of how to obtain is things we always wanted, things we always talked about. But we didn't have the understanding or the knowledge of how to get those things because school don't teach you what you really need to know to be independent and free, because that's not the purpose and the goal of our current school system.
Yeah.
So you have to go out there, have the desire to go out there and get this knowledge that you're going to need to build your freedom, to build your heaven. So now that these things are being unfolded unto me, and I'm learning what to search, and I'm learning what to do, and I'm learning what to read, and I'm learning who to make like the alliances to make and how to make them, it's like you look around and the people that you envisioned on being here with you when this happened, they're not here. So there are different little things that happen throughout your day. It can be the most happiest time that somebody would think you should have. But when that grief hits you and you just start crying and you just need a moment to go sit to the side when you're sad because the people that's supposed to be here with you in this moment ain't here. Yeah. The person who in that moment with you may not realize unless they understand. Yeah. So it's hard to have the grieving moments when they hit sometimes because it's the setting that made it hit. Yeah. And with us taking off the mask, I'm learning to just be who I am. Like, of course, you have to placate to certain temperatures and placate to certain atmospheres. But in the essence of it, I'm learning how, no, this is Antwone Diirt Da Dreamsaver Johnson. Yes, I may tailor it just a bit for this place, but I'm never not being him anymore. I'm never not being genuine to who I am. So if I do have that moment to where the grief hits, I will excuse myself. And if it's with somebody who understands me and knows the journey that I've been on, the things that I've overcame, I'd be like, we'll talk about it in a minute. Just give me a minute. Like, but I don't hold it in anymore. I used to wear that mask, and that mask was heavy. Yeah. The mask gets heavy. And throughout my life, I've worn the mask, and that led to me becoming an alcoholic. That led to me abusing drugs. That led to me just not even knowing me. So this self-discovery part is we have been indoctrinated and forced to wear, so especially I can only speak about being a black man, to wear so many different masks that we don't even know who we are. Yeah. So we go through our whole life not understanding who we are, who created us and why, what's inside of us. What are you supposed to tap into? What are you supposed to get better at? Because we have to wear all these different masks that are everybody else's persona or everybody else's ideology or everybody else's way of thinking. We never have that time to really come into our own because like we were just saying, the most active time in a young man's life is throughout that high school. And once he leaves high school to where he actually starts becoming into his manhood. But by that time, we have so many other burdens and responsibilities and traumas and things that we've inherited, not necessarily that we created for ourselves. Yeah. Because we inherit our people's, in this country, we inherit the trauma of the things that our people have been through because it's force fed to us. It's not fed to us from a place of honoring and joy. Yeah. It's forced to us as a place of oppression and depression. So as we're learning about our history, it creates the oppression. I mean, it creates the depression because you see your people throughout oppression. So then it forces you also to think lowly of yourself because you haven't seen the greatness that your people bring to this world.